everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union energy update. I was not anticipating doing a reading today, especially not a Sacred Union energy update. It's not a reading on YouTube at the very least. However, I was doing a quick poll for Instagram, Facebook, over here on the community post, as I do, for the Sacred Union energy, and these three cards came out with the Six of Cups here on the bottom of the deck that I'm going to put here at the center of our reading. And it feels like big energy. And you can check out that posting on the community post over on Instagram, over on Facebook, because it will be up, but I needed to dive deeper because there's so much energy that's coming through, and I couldn't articulate it in a written post, strangely enough. Okay, so here's what's happening. We have the Star that came out, we have the Eight of Wands that came out, and we have the Seven of Pentacles. The energy that I'm getting is one of energetics. Now, we had previously channeled that April was going to be a month of big energy, capital B-I-G energy, big energy, and a lot of forward movement, and that is showing up here in the spread. These two cards are screaming the astral realm to me. It's screaming like energy. So I know that Eight of Wands can be travel, it can be forward motion, it can be communication. I'm not getting that. What I'm getting from this is a lot of alignment that is happening energetically. So if you are in separation, perceived separation, because that's the illusion, we're always in union, but it can feel like separation, it can feel like disconnect, it can feel like detachment. If you're in separation, if you are in lack of communication, if you have broken up with your person, if you are walking away from the connection or walking away from your person, if you are just allowing yourself to move on your own individual path, and allowing your person to journey on theirs and not thinking about whether or not you'll come into, connection, if you're thinking about entertaining other connections, if you are moving away from this connection and moving into somebody who is matching your frequency. Everybody's at a different stage of their journey. Everybody's experiencing this in a little bit of a different way. But for my collective, there does seem to be this disconnect. There does seem to be this separation energy. And I like to call it, rather than separation, I'm calling it this individual energy, because you and your partner, you are sacred partners. It's not going to be the truth for everybody. You'll know it as it resonates for you, but if you feel like you and your partner are these true sacred partners, there does seem to be this kind of disconnect, and there does seem to be this kind of walking away, and that's going to be a little bit different for everybody. For some of you, you're walking towards somebody who is matching your frequency if your person doesn't seem to be doing that right now. You're going to be exploring other relationships. For others, you're holding space. For others, you are going through this release, this detachment, this disconnect for your own purpose. For others, you are moving more into your mission, and that's why you're focused on your own individual journey, your own sacred path, rather than that of your partner. It's going to look a little bit different for everybody, but the resonance of it, the essence of it, the energy of it is going to be the same, where there feels like there's been some kind of departure, there feels like there's been some kind of disconnect, especially after this period where it felt like things were aligning and falling into place. It feels like things then fell apart. That was because you are aligning energetically, but in the physical, it looks like things are falling apart because it had to, because you have moved into a higher echelon, a higher energy, a higher frequency of yourself, and the container at which you were experiencing the connection previously could not hold that. I talk about that over on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections in depth. You can start with the Channeling Journey's End. I will try to put a description or a link in the description box below of several readings that you can look at if this is resonating with you, and especially if you're new to the channel and new to my readings. So the old version of you, the old version of your partner, and the old version of the relationship that you had created cannot hold the higher frequency. It has to shift because you are shifting, because you are transforming, because you are changing. I'm going to speak for the Divine Feminines. Divine Feminines, you are no longer abandoning yourself. You are no longer rejecting yourself. You are no longer betraying yourself or neglecting yourself. You are having truly healthy boundaries, upholding those boundaries. You are expressing yourself. You are in your self empowerment. Divine masculines, you are learning how to stand in your own truth. You are learning how to let down the mask. You are learning, as I had channeled in the Patreon pick a pile today, you are learning what freedom truly is. That you have been operating from an old paradigm, that you have been operating from an old template, that you had been operating from a lower level of consciousness. Now, that does not mean something bad. That's everybody goes through these stages of consciousness. That is what awakening, ascension, and expansion is all about. Divine feminines have been through this previously, so that is not to criticize or negate you and your journey at all. But you're recognizing this. You're becoming aware of this now, and that's what expansion and ascension is all about. It's that awareness of self. And so that mask that you had been carefully constructing, that ego that had been there to serve to protect you in that survival mode, is coming down. And so you're beginning to understand yourself and become aware of yourself in a higher light and a higher consciousness through recognizing the shadow work, through doing the shadow work, and recognizing where you have been repeating pain patterns, projecting, experiencing renewal of trauma or repetition of trauma, and operating just in that lower kind of dense energy. Again, that's what expansion is all about. It's about becoming aware, and through that awareness and through the changing and the action of changing your behavior, changing your patterns, that is where you expand. That's where you experience growth and ascension and shifting into the higher consciousness through not just being aware of your pain patterns, but shifting those pain patterns, or I should say, shifting those patterns into one of a higher light. But you have to integrate the shadow and the light into full balance. That's what expansion truly is. So divine masculines and divine feminines have been working on themselves along this journey. And for a lot of you, you were working in partnership with another. Whether you were in lack of communication or not, it really felt like the energies were merging. It felt like everything was coming together. And then it kind of felt like things fell apart. And so for some of you, you went into non-communication. For some of you, you went into a breakup. For some of you, you went into, physical separation, or even just energetic disconnect or detachment. On a different level, on a level that you had never been before, because this was you really recognizing what you needed for your own sacred path, what you needed for your own journey, what you needed for your own self-empowerment and complete expansion. And this was a massive turning point for you, a massive turning point for you to truly anchor in this new version of yourself, to recognize that transformation and to anchor it in, to embody it. So this was massive. It was a turning point. But so it might have looked like your world and your partnership, your connection with your counterpart just completely exploded, and that people may have experienced that in a number of different ways, but it was pain. It was pain, but you transmuted that pain and you said, you know what? I am not going to allow that or entertain that or accept that in my energy field anymore, because that is how much I have transformed. That is how much I have raised my frequency and expanded. That is how much I am loving myself, especially divine feminines are in this energy. So even though it felt like things kind of fell apart, and this is happening over the period of the past 6 months, where things felt like they were coming together, and then things felt like they were falling apart, and things felt like they were coming together, and then things felt like they were falling apart. What's actually been happening is you have been energetically aligning. And again, that old version of you, that old energetic version of you could not sustain, let me put it this way, the physical world or the physical container or what you had created in partnership with another could not sustain the transforming version of you, because the relationship that you had created with your partner up until this point had been about healing the pain patterns. And a lot of you played out those pain patterns or projected those pain patterns or experienced the trauma renewed in order to heal it. Through triggers, through the intense interactions that you had with another, through the pain and the heartbreak that you experienced with another. For example, ghosting showed you where you're not going to experience or accept lack of communication anymore, because otherwise you're just abandoning yourself. Any conflict or any confrontation, showed you how you needed to heal trauma related to conflict or confrontation. Those are just examples that I've experienced. You've experienced in a number of different ways. It plays out in various different scenarios, but those are some of the more popular ones that we experienced on this journey. Like that chaser runner, you're recognizing, I'm not going to chase anymore. I'm going to align. And anything that is not aligned to me, then it's not serving me or it's not for me at this time. Same with the divine masculine. That push and pull energy, recognizing where they were just resisting themselves, where they were just resisting trusting their heart and opening up their heart. Again, holding up that mask. So they were just running away. They were just avoiding that connection because it was so intense. It was making them feel, and they weren't used to feeling because a lot of that feminine energy within them had been suppressed, had been distorted based on what they had experienced of the distorted feminine template in the past. And so that's what they're healing. So both of you, I've talked about this ad nauseum on a lot of my recent Sacred Union Energy updates, the sacred channelings. So if you're new to the channel, there's a lot of you that are new here. Thank you and welcome. Do make sure that you are going back if this is resonating with you and you haven't listened to those readings, because I don't want to repeat that here. I want to get into this energy here. So there's a lot that is shifting. There's a lot that is aligning now. But it doesn't look it. That's the thing that is tripping us up. It doesn't look it in the physical. It looks like things are falling apart. And so you might be having trouble believing. You might be having trouble holding that faith. You might be having trouble just allowing this to take its course, its natural course, to allow it to unfold. Especially divine feminines, you might be experiencing this place of, I just don't believe in my divine masculine anymore. And I don't know how I can because of this, this, and this, and this that I experienced. Well, in your heart, in the depths of your heart, you truly do feel that sacred union. You truly do feel that love. But you're also recognizing that you have your life experience, that you have your personal sacred path to walk on. And if there's not alignment there, then you're saying, okay, then I'll just allow that to unfold. But in the meantime, and it's not in the meantime like I'm going to wait. It's in the meantime, I'm just going to continue my life because that's what I need to do. Rather than focusing on the connection, rather than overgiving, which were distorted templates for feminine energy, she is in her place of sacred power, sacred self-empowerment. She is in her place of aligning to her true desires, her true wishes, and she is just allowing herself to open, maybe feeling a lot of pain as she is detaching or moving away from the connection a little bit, but she is still just getting into alignment with herself. And that's what the divine masculine is doing too, because the divine masculine at this point has to recognize that they have the strength and they have the courage and they have the self-empowerment to do this without kind of holding on to the feminine's energy, because there had been a bit of a codependency because she was shining her light so brightly for the masculine and the masculine was kind of holding on to that. So now it's like, okay, you can do this, and recognizing that they can do this, just as the feminine had recognized without the masculine that she could do this. That's a lot of why the feminine has felt so lonely and alone on this journey, is because she had to recognize her self-empowerment for herself. Her divine masculine in the ethereal realm has always been loving, always been encouraging, always been supportive, but it showed up as a lot of pain in the connection, especially when it comes to the divine masculine's outer actions. And that's not excusing their behavior, that is not excusing mistreatment, that is not excusing their behavior or their actions at all. There is justice that is coming in, there is an expression and apologies and communication that is coming in, because divine masculine is feeling a lot of regret because they're becoming aware of how their own pain templates influenced that, how they weren't listening to their heart, but it served a divine purpose. So we're not excusing the 3D anymore. We're not allowing that energy anymore, but we are understanding that there was a purpose, because you're always doing this together, because you are coming together in order to grow, in order to expand. And so the divine masculine has always been feeling the light of the divine feminine, the love of the divine feminine, but they had never experienced that true unconditional love from that feminine energy before. They might have had mother figures or relationships that were of a feminine energy, but it wasn't that divine feminine template. It wasn't that It was in distorted energy. And so it brought out a lot of the triggers and the healing that needed to happen. So Divine Feminine, she's felt very alone in the journey, very alone in the connection, even though she understands that it has served a purpose. And from that angle, she is feeling so much gratitude because it has served a purpose to help her to heal, to expand, and to transform to this place where she is in her embodied higher self. Divine Masculine is getting there. Divine Masculine is there. Divine Masculine is recognizing for himself that Divine Feminine has always been there in her higher self, encouraging the Divine Masculine to stand up, to take responsibility for themselves, to hold themselves accountable, to recognize that freedom doesn't come from not being with their sacred partner, but by embracing your sacred partner in full commitment, in full devotion, because it's the open heart now. But Divine Feminine had to let go in the physical, because what she was doing as she was holding on and attaching to the connection, because she could feel it, she's just like, I don't understand why the Divine Masculine doesn't feel this connection. Well, he does, and he feels the love, and he feels the intensity, and he feels the sacredness of this connection. But part of the reason why he runs is because he had never experienced, number one, the full force of feminine energy before, and number two, because feminine, you had your healing to do too, just as masculine has theirs. And so the feminine had to release a lot of that pressure, a lot of that template of what an old paradigm relationship looks like. And I'm not talking about commitment versus not commitment. I'm not talking about marriage versus not marriage. That is, false paradigm as well. Sacred love is committing to each other. Whatever your values are, whatever it is that you choose as partners for that to be, for that to look like. For some, it might be marriage. For others, and family. For others, it might be something else. It might be working together. It might be whatever this is. Whatever it is that you choose, you're choosing it together. That is the key to sacred partnerships. You're choosing it together. So Divine Masculine had to recognize, hey, I have this power inside of myself. I can be free to create for myself, to create for my life, and to commit to this person who holds my heart, who is my heart, that I feel this unconditional love from. But they had to recognize what freedom is not, or what they thought freedom was, the false energy of freedom. They had to recognize what it is to not take responsibility for yourself, to not take accountability for yourself, to not stand up for yourself, to not express yourself. They had to experience that contrast in order to understand the opposite, in order to recognize what divine power truly is, or what self-empowerment truly is. And that's what power is. It is self-empowerment. It is not control. It is not manipulation. Power is self-empowerment. And self-empowerment comes from taking responsibility, from holding yourself accountable, from claiming yourself and owning yourself, expressing yourself, communicating your needs, your wants, your desires, from opening up your heart. That is what self-empowerment truly is. So there's a lot of mirroring that has happened in this connection. And it's very hard to see when we're focused on the 3D. I'm going through that myself. The 3D sucks. The 3D can be very, very difficult. I'm finding a lot of beauty and peace and gratitude in my life right now. I'm extremely happy in my life, but my connection feels like a struggle because I'm looking at it from the 3D. But when I allow myself to pull back and see, okay, this is what this was all for, and recognize my own self-empowerment, that this journey and that my connection has led me to, again, I'm in a place where I am not sacrificing myself like I used to, where I am holding healthy boundaries, where I am not overgiving, because I recognized my own pain pattern, that I felt like I needed to prove my love, or that I could only receive love if I was giving love. And as such, I was just abandoning myself. I wasn't honoring myself. I'm giving myself an example, but this is what the Divine Feminine has been experiencing on her journey, has been going through. Again, it might look a little different according to how it plays out for yourself, for your individual life, but this is collective energy. This is what the Divine Feminine has been healing, and she's been finding gratitude for this connection, for that. However, that being said, again, she is not excusing any mistreatment, any poor behavior. She's That's where she stands in her self-empowerment. But the divine masculine is righting those wrongs. What I'm getting here is the tide is really turning. This is a turning point that is occurring right now. So this energy here, there's reconciliation, there is reunion energy that is happening. This is coming in with the Seven of Pentacles here. This is coming in the physical. Those seeds are being planted. What I'm actually hearing is they had been planted. The roots are now growing. I'm going to point you guys to a soul saying that I did over on Instagram, Facebook, again on my YouTube community posts. I'm going to read it here because this was a channeled message that I had gotten. Okay. It's this kind of energy. I was talking about love is the foundation. I'm gonna read this to you because I feel this is resonant and I feel like this is important. I'm gonna get back to these cards in a minute. This feels important. So I shared, when I was younger, I viewed relationships through a pretty naive lens. This is me speaking as Susan, personally, my own experience. I used to believe that love was all that mattered. As long as you have love, you can get through anything. It was the all you need is love motto, that those John Lennon lyrics. It didn't and still doesn't matter where you and your partner are, or your family member, your friend. It could apply to any relationship, financially or materially, as long as you're loving each other through any challenging experience. That is what I believed. And it's interesting because I'm actually seeing the blue energy of Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is coming in to provide protection and support, especially if you are feeling this energy of disconnect, especially if you are feeling, he's saying that he is holding space for us right now, because this is a turning point. So I'm not quite sure what that means yet, but he's coming in, he's saying that he's holding space, providing that protection, providing that support. Okay, so to continue, I've since realized that this is only partially true. Yes, love is all you need because love is all there is, but love is the foundation, the roots of a tree. And look at this image here. Through which the branches emerge, through which it blossoms out of the soil. The branches are honesty, trust, integrity, communication, stability, secure attachment, personal responsibility, emotional expression, intimacy, all of those necessary aspects for relationships to flourish. The deeper the relationship, the more healthy these branches grow on the tree. But if any of these facets are missing, it affects the whole. So the branch rots, the tree becomes decayed down to the root, and the relationship dissolves. The branches of that tree containing the essence of love can only grow when it's nourished. In a relationship, the seed is planted and the roots are grown by two people, with both efforting to nourish what has been created. Like a mother and a father birthing a child and creating a third energy, a relationship is similarly birthed and must be nurtured. And we have channeled that Trinity energy from the very beginning of my channeling of this YouTube channel here. We have channeled the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and God's source energy created Trinity energy. As such, the divine masculine, the divine feminine in union pour into the same cup and create a union energy. It is a merging of the energies. It is pure divine love. So it's all Trinity energy here. It has taken me a long time and a lot of challenging my old beliefs to understand this. It seems so simplistic, of course, we all want to say. I already know all of this. But putting it into practice, this material, physical life experience can be a little bit difficult. We can understand it on the spiritual realm, but putting it into practice can be challenging because trauma comes up, pain patterns come up, programmings come up. I say putting it into practice in a truly healthy dynamic without codependencies, without anxious or avoidant attachments, without our own trauma and programming and beliefs playing out within the relationship is a rare occurrence. Again, because so much comes up. So much of our past experience, past lifetimes and traumas and lineage comes up to be triggered and healed, but we don't often get to the healing aspect in relationships. So even more so is allowing yourselves to be vulnerable and supported as we heal within the context of relationship with another. That's what I just said. We don't often get to the point where we allow ourselves to heal in harmony with another. The trigger happens and we pull away or we push away and we don't allow ourselves to communicate and express ourselves in healthy ways. I've experienced personally a lot of contrast in my own relationships. of what I don't want my tree to look like. I've myself nurtured unhealthy patterns, taking on responsibility for others, falling into the extreme of independence where I feel like I don't need anybody or I can't trust anybody. But that was my own trauma that was playing out. And I've recognized that now. And that's why, as I move more into my divine feminine energy, I'm allowing myself to receive. I had not done that in the past. Through that contrast, I've grown and learned and allowed myself to change and shift my own beliefs around myself and these connections. And then I just go on to say that these are the seeds I'm planting now for a garden of healthy trees that blossom and grow and last. So I wanted to share that. It felt important because that's this energy here. Everything that is happening energetically, everything that we just talked about is for this growth. You are planting the roots that are sustainable, that are lasting. This is the roots of creation, is what they're saying. This is the roots of sacred union, and sacred union is creation energy. Let me say that again. Sacred union is creation energy, and these are the roots of creation that you are planting with your partner. Now, you might not be able to see this. Again, look at how he's a couple of things. Look at how he's looking at the tree. This is all happening beneath the surface. This is all happening beneath the soil. That's what this energy is here. You and your partner are wishing on the same star. In your heart's desires, you want to come towards each other. In your heart's desire, the depth of love, of sacred love that you have for each other. This is not just, the relationships that you've experienced in the past, the connections that you've experienced in the past. This is spiritual. This is depth. This is God source energy. This is union energy, creation energy, magic. This is sacred. You haven't understood it up until this point because you haven't experienced it up until this point, but that is why you're here together at this moment in time, this incarnation, this present moment, experiencing this with each other. This is big energy in April. And so you both share this love for each other, but it was your own pain, your own trauma, your own wounding that came up in this connection as you came together in your physical experience. Both of you. There is no blame here. There is no criticism. Again, both of you, divine feminines, I speak for you especially because I'm a divine feminine, but both of you not accepting what you had accepted in the past. Anything that is of a distorted nature, anything that is not in a healthy manner when it comes to connecting with another, because you're not connecting to yourself in that unhealthy manner anymore. Again, not abandoning yourself, betraying yourself, rejecting yourself, or neglecting yourself. Because you are loving yourself and connecting yourself and seeing yourself or honoring yourself as the sacred soul that you are now. Now you are able to align to that in sacred partnership with another. And you're no longer tolerating that, especially from your sacred partner anywhere. And your partner was really just energetically showing you where you needed to shift. But that's you in the 3D saying, listen, I'm still not tolerating that. Even if you are my sacred partner, thank you for showing me this, but now it's time for both of us to shift. Now it's time for both of us to heal. So you are both aligned to this. You are both wanting this. You are both feeling the sanctity of this connection. And in the higher astral realms, energetically, you are united in union. And you can feel that. For a lot of us, we can feel that sacred sexuality occurring in the astral realms. The union, the merging of the energies. Again, the 3D just doesn't show evidence of that yet, but that is what is being planted right now. You can't see the growth that is happening right now, but you will. With this 8 of Wands here, this is energy. What they're seeing, this is the cosmos. And this is everything aligning in the cosmos to be brought down into the physical here. And you see how he's performing this Reiki energy here on the plant to grow? You are in your heart space, in your higher heart, which is your ascended heart. In your heart space, you are aligning into union. You've always been in union energetically, but you are truly aligning with the merged energies with one another. Remembering the sacredness of your connection, remembering the oneness of who you and your partner are, the magic of who you and your partner are, the God source energy that flows through you both, that flows through all of creation, all consciousnesses, but narrowed down to you and your partner as one. And so there's fast moving energy that is happening here. I'm just seeing this like energy floating through the cosmos here, and it's coming down through your embodiment. That's what Reiki energy is. It's the energetic flow into physical form through your embodiment, through you embodying and honoring your sacred self. Having transformed into your sacred self, you are nurturing your connection. And what you can't see is your partner is over here doing the same. This is what you are creating. This is the tree of your life, the tree of your creation, the tree of your love, the tree of your union. All right. That is going to be it for today. It felt powerful. It felt strong. It felt loving. If you are having a difficult time on this journey with your connection, even if you're feeling, great and amazing otherwise, hang in there. Hang in there, because you are aligned to love. You are aligned to love because you are love. And the more that you recognize that you are love, the more that you recognize the sacred soul that is you, the more it is coming into alignment and showing up in your physical world. And that is what you can expect over these next few weeks, these next few months, for your life. It is showing up because it is who you are. And law of attraction, law of assumption, law of manifestation, whatever it is that you want to call it, the law of creation says that as you are, so it is. I send you so much love, so much light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.